Hello, welcome back to another live with Esoteric Next. Today I am without my guest star, Braden. He should be coming on shortly. Tried a new button. Let's see if he jumps on soon. I hope everyone had a good holiday weekend. Thanksgiving with all your friends and family. Hi, Braden. Did you get the thing? There you are. There we go. Adding Braden. Steph. Hi, Steph. I got my new mics in. Oh, so excited. I got 4 of these babies. Got them off the TikTok shop. I sent you an ad, Braden. Braden wants to join you on video. There's a request. Allow audio. I already said accept. Boom. Boom. Braden. Let's try this again. Audience request. Oh, no. Oh, no, Braden. What? Are you coming? Tried a new setup for this. And I sent Braden a thing. He is out of town again. So we're doing the live, the split screen. There we go. There we go.
This.
Did you turn your camera off or did you leave? Oh no. What'd you do?
All right. My bad. I got fumbly hands.
That's okay.
You guys, am I sideways? Doesn't matter. You guys are sideways on my screen. But
Yeah. My thingamabob doesn't want to stay up.
what if I do this?
In mine, it's just a little square.
What does this thing do?
So we could do these things before we start the live, but then we won't know.
And this is fun. Yeah.
Until
Viewers
it
can
starts.
All right, you guys. I don't know. I'm just gonna set it so it stands, and y'all have to deal with however it sticks. I'm sorry.
It is
Sorry,
what
Matt.
it is.
It is what it is.
So today, Braden is not here. Are you,
Nope.
Braden?
Nope. I'm in South Dakota. Rapid City, South Dakota. Enjoying a nice fancy hotel with terrible beds, great pillows, and decent water pressure on the shower head.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a nice hotel, man.
Yeah. I mean, if the
Looks like
water
you got
pressure
good
is great,
water
that's like
pressure,
half the battle. Yeah.
right?
That's where I'm at.
That's
all I look
clean
forward to.
sheets.
Yeah. I don't know. I sleep on top of them.
So today's topic is going through difficult times, and I feel like holidays are a hard time for a lot of people, and a good time to really test your triggers and see how well you can put everything that you've learned to the test.
Well, may I add,
Boundaries and
not just triggers, but the word was right there. Not just your triggers, but your tolerances. Like, what are you tolerating, and like, is the energy level that you are giving worth what you are getting back? Especially during the holidays, right? Because we all want stress-free holidays, but we've got to create those for ourselves. Sometimes that means stepping on other people's toes.
One
Give them a good stomp and get it out of the way.
My favorite quote is, "You teach people how to treat you."
Mm-hmm.
by the things that you allow and you don't allow. So the boundaries that you put up. Um, just in general, though, thinking about it, if you allow people to talk down to you and pick on you or call you names, and you don't stand up and say anything or walk away or remove yourself from the situation, it's going to keep happening.
Or if they just want to talk in a nice but rude manner about your lifestyle and how you're living and the choices you're making, because I get sideways comments from various extended family members from time to time, and I, in the moment, have to ask myself, is it worth the energy I'm about to spew on them, or should I just walk away from it?
Right.
But also, either which way, I don't have to tolerate it, whether that's me having a voice and objectifying it, or it's me just simply keeping my own inner peace and walking away, knowing I've got that much more energy to spend on something else.
Right. I think understanding or being aware of the self-awareness level or the intelligence level of the people that you're going to be standing up to could be a way that you filter whether or not you say something to them or how you say it to them.
Yeah,
Because
their
not
emotional
every
level.
interaction or boundary that you set up needs to be so forceful and aggressive. It could be you just take grandma to the side and like, hey grandma, you mentioned how you think this thing about whatever my achievements are, what jobs I'm working or the people that I'm dating, and you talk down to me and I don't really like it. And it makes me feel like I don't look forward to Thanksgiving dinner. Like if it continues, I won't want to come to Thanksgiving dinner anymore. So I'd appreciate it if you would stop talking down to me. I don't even know if you realize you are, but it feels like that. It makes me feel worthless. And I don't think you think I'm worthless because you're my grandma and I love you. So please stop doing that. It could be a small, gentle conversation instead of, don't talk to me like that, grandma, or I'm not coming back.
Yeah, because remember, especially during holidays, like when you start expending that emotional energy, as I will so aptly put it, you really are creating the environment that you are now going to be starting your whole like word battle with, So like you're saying, it doesn't have to be aggressive. And if you start aggressive, expect it to end aggressive. And make a whole lot of progress when you're in that mode, especially when it's family on family. Button heads is just
Those are
extra.
hard, dude. I mean, when it comes to family and the people that love and care for you, that are responsible for your well-being, especially as a child, these are the people that you grew up with, the people that you relied on, and when they mistreat you or talk down to you, whether you're surrounded by some narcissist or somebody who's abusive verbally, mentally, emotionally, those are some deep-rooted traumas.
Well,
They become a trauma.
and it doesn't even have to be like directed at you. If you have a family that is just more emotionally manipulative, they do the things, they beat on each other. It's just how they show love, if you will. You don't
And think about
have
what
to,
kind of characteristics it would train you to have
well,
if you grew up like that.
and you don't
If you
have to. You don't have to play that. You don't have to play into that perspective. If it's something you don't want to be around, don't feel bad
right,
for not wanting to be
but
around it.
the kind of characteristics that it creates, if you have family who is talking down to you all the time and chastising you about your job, the people that you're with, and that you have to do certain things, you have to be like this in order to receive my praise, my love, and attention. So it would create that people pleasing tendency in someone that
And it
they
would also create the tendency to manipulate the people around you in the same manner.
yes, and
You
so
know,
you would end up trying to become something that you're not to please the people that you're around, and then you would stop expressing yourself
or
because it's not okay for you to show that side of yourself.
or You're allowing them to mold you in the image that they want to see.
So you're constantly trying to compensate because your worth, your validation is attached to what somebody else says, outside validation.
And it doesn't even have to be this deep, you guys. Like, it could also just be something as simple as, like, I don't want to go to big family gatherings because it's not my thing. I don't like sitting around in a smallish house with a bunch of my family for an extended period of time. It's not how I want to enjoy my holiday. And you're perfectly within your rights to do that. And you can make that happen for yourself, whether that's
a hard
every year.
Obligation, though. I feel like there's a stigma around holidays. It's supposed to be spent with family and close friends. So, well, personally, the holidays are weird for me because I grew up spending the holidays with family. And when my parents divorced, we didn't have big family gatherings. And still to this day, we don't have big family gatherings. They're few and rare. And I don't know what to do with my holidays anymore. So I decided to make my own thing. I wanted to create a friend group and start doing a Friendsgiving. Christmas is split because of the parenting plan that we have. We have to separate Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So that's difficult. But even so, creating your own traditions, creating your own piece, creating
Yep.
what you want it to look like. And I can't lie and say that there's not a twinge of sadness in the loss of what used to be, what it used to feel like. And that it's not going to happen now because everything happened the way it did, and that's okay. But mourning what was lost.
See, and
I'm looking forward to what will be, could be.
When I think about the holidays, like I also came from, having big family gatherings that have slowly dwindled due to people passing away, and now my parents are separated, so it's a little bit more divided. But honestly, it's like a breath of fresh air for me. My family's so, I don't want to say broken up that they don't get together, but it allowed space for me to be able to have the option to not have to be all the way into the big family groups if I don't want to be. It doesn't mean that, like, I hate them, but I've definitely had my fill of them. The feeling of them has changed over the years, and it's not as importantly special anymore. But I welcome that. I embrace that because then I don't feel that obligation to have to be with the whole family. It's okay to just have a phone call or a video chat or go talk to them and hang out with them beginning or end or like before or after the holiday within the next 3 or 4 days. And I don't feel obligated to, but I can do that if I want. And I like it. I'm grateful for it. And I do miss the big family gatherings. I am sad that they're not the way they were way back in the day, but
I'm so excited to be in a position where I
you get to make
can host things like that.
Yeah.
Or I can start something like that. Like here in, the next 10 years, I'm going to have a house and I'm going to have that cool, pretty little island that's set up with all the stuff. And, we're working on creating our peace and our circle of like-minded people who also want calm and peaceful life, stress-free, and communicating clearly and bluntly and openly. I'll have that. I'll have that again. I saw it with Chance and Sam. They had their nice big gatherings. I can do it too. I can make it. We're not far from it.
I miss my big gatherings. Those were a lot of fun. I finally got myself into a position where I could start doing some hosting again. Nothing crazy massive, but that's a fun feeling. It's its own sense of freedom, if you will. Yeah. Guys, a lot of my week has been spent in thought because I've been doing a lot of drive time traveling all the way out to Nebraska. And the big thought that kept finding its way into my head is realizing that if you look back 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, but I like 3 years. 3 years is a discernible difference from who I was to who I am. And to see all of the progress that I've made, right? And you get to appreciate that. But more so, I've recognized that the progress that I've made they really are my strengths. Like the things that I struggle with are things that not only do I not struggle with now, but I have such confidence in them that they are powerhouse items. And so that whole cliche, you make your weaknesses become your strengths. I think it's not making your weaknesses become your strength, but recognizing that your strength lies just behind the wall of weakness that you are currently fighting with. And as soon as that wall is taken down, as soon as that door is open, as soon as you find that key, the thing that waits on the other side is so powerful. And step into that.
I believe in therapy is where I heard this. But
I believe in therapy too. Sorry.
I struggled a lot with as much as I like to soak in all this information, I get real frustrated with myself after going through an event because after a fight or an argument or a big thing, you can think of all the things that you could have done differently. And a lot of the times the thing that comes up when I'm looking back on an event is I know all this stuff that I could have done differently. I've educated myself on that. Why didn't I do that? I've got all this knowledge. Why can't I be good with it? It's like working out. If you recognize something that you're weak in a certain area, then you are exercising to make it stronger in that specific area. So the more that you work out in that specific area that you struggle with or that's your weakness, it could become your strength if you work that muscle out. So like setting boundaries, that's a muscle to work out. I've gotten really good at setting boundaries. I really sucked at setting boundaries because it's like, oh, I don't like it when you do this. I'm like, okay, well, sometimes I might do it if I want to, but because you don't like it, I'll try not to. Like, oh, that was me setting a boundary, right? No, it wasn't. It was just me saying what I do and don't like.
It was a good practice at setting a boundary, though. Like it was first steps.
I was
It's where
slowly
it
working it
started.
out. I picked up that like half-pound dumbbell and I was like, look at me, setting boundaries.
I'm doing it, man. On
I
a
did the
real note,
thing.
though, on like a physical note like that, I went into the gym at the last hotel that I was in because my moving partner was there. He asked me to pick up he asked me if I could do 35-pound dumbbell curls or 40-pound dumbbell curls. I was like, there's no way on God's green earth. Like 25, 30 max, especially because I haven't been to the gym in a couple months. Like that's not happening. I didn't think I could barely do the 35. So I pick up the 35s and I do like 7 sets or 7 reps per each arm. And I was feeling pretty good about myself. And then he told me to pick up the 40s. And I told him I couldn't do it. And I almost couldn't. But then he looks at me and goes, you just pumped out 735s like they were nothing. You should at least be able to pick up the 40s one time. And I could do it. Like he gave me a perspective to be able to do it. But man, we don't realize how much we cut ourselves short in our own head with the practices that we do on the things that we don't think we're good at. And we limit ourselves. I won't say we limit ourselves, but man, it's like you expect yourself to go 100% to be able to become better at things. And you start doing the things and you self-evaluate yourself at like 40%, but you want that 100%. And then you don't think that you're good enough to be doing the 50, 60, 70, 80%. But all along, like you have that capability. It is there. It's just waiting for you to acknowledge and accept it. And wow, do things, I don't like hearing this. Dang it anyway. Wow, do things start taking off? Oh, gosh.
Well, when I think of coping mechanisms, there's a reason for everything, right?
Right.
There's a reason people smoke. There's a reason people vape. There's a reason people pick up drugs, or people have to have coffee every freaking morning. There's a reason. It's a coping mechanism. It's something that you were using to self-soothe because of some form of a small trauma or a big trauma, whatever it is. And a trauma,
or self-motivate, one of the two.
Right? But reading up on traumas, a trauma is when we experience a very stressful, frightening, or a distressing event that is difficult for us to cope with, or that is out of our control. So even as a child, it could be something from your childhood. Anything that is unexpected and overwhelming can turn into a trauma, something that sits in your head that you have to soothe yourself over, that you are struggling to deal with.
And some are bam in your face loud, you recognize them, and some are subtle.
If you think of the coping mechanisms that you hold on to, you can easily look at some of the
don't mind me, I'm just
oh my goodness, the patterns that you see, like people pleasing. People pleasing could come from growing up around people who tell you that you aren't good enough, or that whatever you do wasn't good enough. So you were constantly trying to overcompensate for things, and you're trying to get a difficult person to like you. So your interactions with people are based on the way that they look at you, think of you, or feel about you, instead of your own self-confidence. When it comes to relationships, you are constantly seeking out the praise and approval of your significant other, because that's the only way that you can know that you are valued or that you matter. Once you can identify and recognize some of your coping mechanisms or the things that you struggle with, you can turn that weakness, that shortcoming, into a power.
Agreed. Like, that's why I always say choose yourself. Like, your opinion of yourself is the most important, because your opinion is your perspective of yourself, and your perspective is what creates your reality. And if you're creating a poor view of yourself, then that's the reality you're going to live in. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to have a hard life. That means that the people in your life are going to treat you the way that you view yourself. Because your world is a reflection of you. The people that come into your life are a direct reflection of your brain thoughts and where you're at, or where you may be stuck at.
I still really, 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 really love the whole idea of using the 7 different love languages on yourself. If you are working on your own self-love. So if you find yourself saying mean things to yourself in your head, follow it up real quick by a positive thing, or try and practice not doing that. While you're practicing doing that, if you catch yourself, because you will talk bad about yourself, just come up after it with something positive. Like when I say something about myself, I try to catch myself and be like, oh, that's not true. I am good at this. I do deserve good things. I'm just struggling right now, and that is okay.
I like to ask myself why I have the negative comments in the first place. Ooh. Like, what about this is bad? Because sometimes it's a projection of somebody else's opinions, and sometimes it's just that I'm not recognizing that the things around the said bad comment that actually put what I say in a positive light. That sounded confusing. Like, I could say I'm bad at dishes, right? But I could also stop for a moment and look at those dishes and be like, I know how to scrub them. I know how to rinse them. I know how to dry and put them away. I know what dirty looks like, and I know what clean looks like. I've been given multiple opportunities to wash my own dishes, my parents' dishes, my brother's dishes, roommates' dishes, significant other dishes, whatever. I had all these chances. So I'm actually not bad at doing dishes. I just never acknowledged all of the good things that I can do that pertain to the thing that I think I'm bad at. I haven't given myself a chance, if you will. And I think you were telling me something a little bit along those, like not a little bit, those something along those lines in a different example that doesn't sound as complicated, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't either. But I don't know. My mind is stuck on this whole people pleasing thing because that was something that I really struggled with.
I feel that I was there too.
I spent 5 years in a emotionally, mentally, verbally abusive relationship, and I I I would fill in the blanks a lot, and I felt like I was emotionally aware, and I I was self-aware and I was emotionally aware. I felt like so a lot of the times when things would happen, I would fill in the blanks and say that he's upset and he's acting like this, or he's treating me like he said this thing because in his childhood he was treated this way, or he's going through this. So I would just fill it in for him, and then I if I could just change me, I could adjust to the X, Y, and Z of the reason he's being the way he is. And then I could get a better result when I interact with him. If I just change me, then I could fix this. Or just understanding that, being super overly understanding about why he is the way he is.
And you can be understanding, but understanding
To the point that
and
it was
allowing.
detrimental for me.
Yeah, well, and it's only detrimental because of the choices that followed, right? Because it's okay to be completely overly understanding about somebody's scenario, but you still got to hold them accountable for what they did, right? And you can do it with love, you can do it with compassion. You don't have to hate them while you're telling them their place, if you will, right? Which is
Right,
where
but
you've
I
already
had
gotten
to
to.
change. I had to change. The issue that I have with the way that I acted then was I had to change me so that I could get a better reaction out of the other person. And
Agreed.
and that was part of my people pleasing tendency. Is every time I'd interact with somebody, I would do everything I could to adjust myself so that they could receive me, and I could please them. We could have a happy interaction instead of just me being me and
Guilty.
expressing myself. This video I just watched was talking about people pleasing, and the whole being nice to everyone and wanting to be liked made me less expressive. I trying to overcompensate for what you wanted out of the group or wherever you were interacting. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. She said, if it hurts, say ow. Just say ow. But when you're in the people pleasing tendencies, you're not going to say ow, because then they're going to react a certain way, or it might make them feel uncomfortable to just say that you feel the way that you feel, or that you didn't like the interaction you had, instead of trying to overcompensate and make yourself more palatable to please the other person.
Agreed.
And I got really, really, really bad at it, and I hated it. I hated it about myself. I felt like that was my biggest loss that I let go of. I got it back, though.
I would like to say it wasn't a loss at all. This is a perfect example of stepping, finding, owning your power, right? Like you have a superpower in pleasing others. You just took it in a direction that was toxic for yourself, right?
Or you could say I was really good at recognizing patterns.
Tomato,
Social
potato,
patterns.
man. However you want to look at it, right? But the point being is you have a superpower that you developed. It didn't have a great response because of the direction you developed in, but you built a core around it. So moving forward with boundaries, being able to structure your people pleasing capabilities, you can now do people pleasing successfully, non toxically, with love, unconditionally, and in a manner that you wouldn't be able to had you not gone through that experience.
Right.
Right. So I think that's really like the point that I would like to drive home is those things that you struggle with, guys, those things that feel that you may feel shameful about, or you regretful, or you feel like you could have done them different, or why didn't you do them different? Like recognizing you
My
still got
pattern
experience, you still got
recognition skills
practice.
have been
Yeah.
really fine-tuned. Even
Yes,
growing
exactly.
up, having to recognize when your parents are getting real upset, you could find when their
Well,
mood shifted, and now it don't talk to them.
what's
So
beautiful
man,
is you've really found you became really good at finding the light in the darkness, at finding the positive and the negative, just in a way that wasn't as healthy, but you still did it, right? So now that you can see all the darkness for what it is, if you will, and you can pull the light out of the darkness, and now you've stepped out of the darkness and you stepped into light. Now you get to watch that light expand. But then again, it wouldn't have been able to happen unless you had unless you had those experiences. Like
right,
that's your
right.
power. That's and it's like that's how
Even the bad
ADHD
things,
is, you know?
the whole
ADHD is something that feels very negative at first, but as you learn to deal with it, manage it, become better at it, you realize it really is your superpower. It really is your strength. And you couldn't have those strengths unless you went through all those experiences of disappointment and not been able to make ends meet in whatever
So what were
direction.
some of those powers that you could develop from those downfalls or shortcomings or weaknesses? So like for people pleasing, you have learned a really good pattern recognition skill. Or
Well,
depth, the
for
depth that
for
could be attained from going through a rough divorce. I have so much empathy, sympathy, and understanding on handling a rough divorce or things of that nature, a bad
and
relationship.
what going back to people pleasing, like for example, my person that I do my furniture with, that I've been working with for the last week, um, he is definitely a different individual from the way I like to live my life. And because of me also experiencing all the people pleasing in a way that wasn't pertinent to myself, I recognize where I can like make acceptances, but because I have boundaries, I'm still going to choose to be who I'm going to be. Those acceptances that I make and those little moments of patience that I'll exercise aren't due to well, I hope he sees me better, as more as this is just more cohesive in order to enjoy the company of the person that I'm going to be in for the next however many hours, you know. Um, and it's fascinating to see it be that way, to be able to make acceptances or to make uh, to do things in a way that would please somebody, but not for the benefit of making them happy, but just doing it because it's something you yourself as seeing it as an easier way to be able to navigate your own energy. You know, it's like that crazy person that's sitting out on the end of the block that you want to get rid of. You can't go be an asshole to them, but you can still look at that crazy person and have a decent conversation with him and maybe hopefully talk him into accepting some help so that he can go on his way. So you're not
I
doing it
feel like
for
the secret to peace or
sorry guys, I'm in a public place.
superpowers at all, or to finding your superpower. Yeah, let's say that. The secret to finding your superpower or attaining peace would be letting go of control. Let go of control. You are trying to force yourself to have this superpower, or you're trying to make things the way that you want them to be. You know, you're trying to create your peace. But in the process of creating, you only have control over what you do. That's it. How you react.
Could I say that expectation is a form of control?
Yes. 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 That one's hard. That one's sneaky. So when it comes to letting go, you also have to not force your expectation into the whole letting go thing. And that is so fucking hard. So hard. I still struggle with that so much. Like, my idea of letting go is
and in all honesty,
hard.
like letting go is also another word for, or another phrase for saying you're practicing faith. Because when you let go of the control you think you need to have in a given situation to have the outcome you desire, you're living on faith. You're allowing the universe to take its course. You're allowing God to take its course. You're allowing the situation to play itself out with the confidence of knowing you will know when and where you need to step in at. And it's just an observatory game at that point, right? Like you are just sitting and observing the causality and cause and effect until you see the pattern, and then you can step in and break the pattern or embellish it if it needs embellishing, what have you.
Stop filling in the blanks.
Have faith in yourself. Have faith in your capabilities.
Things are going to work out the way that they need to. And if they don't work out the way that you hope they do, that's okay too.
Yeah. Oh, and remember, everything that's yours is already given to you.
Right.
Where we drop it as people is like
even
we hold that expectation.
That like, I value myself as a friend. I think I am an awesome friend because I have some serious understanding and I just understanding. I think I've through the stuff that I've been through, I can understand what you've been through and put. How would you put that? With my own personal experiences, I can understand other people's personal experiences and give you the grace too. I think I'm awesome. And that in itself can make you a better friend. The experiences that you've went through, the depth that you have through going through that and coming out alive and successful gives you the ability to make space for other people, to hold space for them. Recognizing the patterns and understanding your triggers. You have more self-awareness, more self-love if you are aware of your shortcomings, struggles.
Because then you have humility. Because then you can look into others. Well, and that's the whole thing about choosing self first, right? Because like if you choose yourself, then you're introspecting, and if you're introspecting, then you are learning to understand your own troubles and experiences, and then you meet other people that go through them, and as you hear them talk about the things that they go through, you can relate with them based off of what you've come to understand through yourself. But not only that, it gives you this ability to be able to break down where they may be at. And at first, it might be really wild, outlandish, and not very connected to their current situation. But as you get to practice understanding and introspecting yourself, you get better at understanding and introspecting others. And the more people you come across that do that, piles on the information that you have. So you have this huge database in your own mind to be able to give that unconditional love, that empathy, that understanding, that without judgment. Like I will tell you how it is straight, and I'll do it with love. It's going to sound like judgment. It doesn't sound like I'm judging you, but just know in my heart, like, I don't hold this against you. I recognize what you're going through. I see the struggle. Let me just help you own it, take responsibility for it so you can move past it. And if you can take responsibility and own the things in your life that are not kosher, it will give you power over them, and you will see forward progress. And it will be hard at first, but it gets so
That's
much
it, dude.
easier. It's huge. It's the biggest there is.
Go from victim to
Oh,
survivor.
I'm at
Victim to
3%, so you may
survivor.
lose me at some
Oh,
point.
no. And then you can help
I forgot my
other
charger.
people turn from victim to survivor and take that victim mentality and turn it into a superpower. You are not a victim. You are not a things are not happening to you. You have the ability to float. You don't
Things are
need
only
to
happening.
drown.
Things only happen to you because you allow them to. They only happen to you when you are not willing or not able to emotionally process what you're dealing with, right? Because when you can't process your emotion, then your emotions speak for you. And that's kind of where I find I get myself into hot water when I'm angry or I'm upset or I'm depressed or I'm feeling needy or whatever it is. If I decide to act while I'm in the middle of feeling that emotion, that I am reacting emotionally. I'm not in control of how I'm reacting. But if you allow yourself to feel the feeling, like actually feel it, and then process it, and then react,
Sometimes
then
you want to get out of that, and I totally get that. I saw this TikTok the other day. I think I shared it on the group about being in the moment, getting out of your head. So,
out of your
like, if you
into your body and out of your head. Yeah.
yeah, so if you're stuck in traffic and you're just sitting there and you have to wait at this red light and it's taking you 20 minutes to sit at this red light and you're just stuck in your head and you're thinking about all these things and you're frustrated and you're negative thinking and all this other stuff, being present and the whole detaching, being present in the moment instead of stuck in here. So instead of being stuck in your head and all the icky things that you're thinking, be stuck in traffic. You're sitting in a car. You feel what it feels like to be in the seat belt across your chest, the smell in the car, the sounds of the noises and the rest of the traffic, what the other cars are doing. You hear the other person next to you singing. You can see the birds sitting on the power line instead of being stuck in your head, be in the moment.
Yes, exactly. Well, and then on the flip side of that, um, like me, especially when you talk about being stuck at a red light, being stuck in lines, places where I have to practice patience, I find it is so much easier to step out of that current moment, you know? So not to detract from what you're saying, but also to recognize like for every uh everything there I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at with that. But just remember, like she said, if you're having oh there
Ooh, did we lose Braden? Did his phone die? That's okay. You're frozen now. Remove. It won't let me do it. That's okay. We're going to look at Braden's eyeball. Be in the moment more. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. It was fun trying to figure out how to get Braden in here. It's always different every time posting the lives. I'm excited. If anybody would like to participate in speaking about a topic, go ahead and reach out to me. I'm still looking for some people to throw in here. Let me know. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you next week.